NASCAR's all-new electric series, or at least the electric race car, is hitting the racetrack in just a few weeks in Los Angeles. We have the details. Plus, the Daytona 500 open field is starting to shape up a little bit more. The full documentary trailer for the new Netflix series got released this week, and new qualifying procedures for 2024, and some new bodies are on iRacing. We will go ahead and break it all down today on Shifting Gears.
High, push it, checker flag, hell yeah!
What's the caution for? Mate?
Can I not push it in?
Stop anybody.
Come on, you guys! Way to go, boys! One hell of a job, man, one hell of a job. Thank you so much.
Welcome on into Shifting Gears on a Wednesday, January 24th. I am Alan Bailey. Let's get into it because there is so much happening. But before we do that, make sure that you mash that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. And of course, go ahead and check out our second gaming and esport channel, Team Chaos, with the link in the description down below. And as always, you can go ahead and log on to arnrace.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Let's go ahead and start with the Netflix trailer. Yes, the full trailer got released this morning, and there's some really good stuff in there. I got to admit, there's already an F-bomb being dropped in there, so kudos to Netflix for not censoring this. I'm really excited to see a non-NASCAR fan base finally get to see the personality of these NASCAR drivers and the personalities in NASCAR. I've always said that this should be a Drive to Survive type documentary, and finally it's coming in less than a week. Next Tuesday, January 30th, is when it hits Netflix, and I cannot wait. Stewart-Haas Racing also unveiled a brand new paint scheme for Noah Gragson, and the internet has agreed it looks like a test car. Honestly, this thing just comes off as like, we didn't have any other ideas, let's just go ahead and throw some lines on there, but here's the big logo, and I'll give them this, the sponsor logo does pop on this car, but it screams default paint scheme in a paint booth from like 2004, so like, fail. Big fail. Big, massive fail on the paint scheme. And honestly, to me, this just screams, yeah, Noah Gragson's going to have a Ford or a Haas car for most of the 2024 season, and they're desperately still looking for sponsors over there at Stewart-Haas Racing. No offense, best luck to them. Hopefully some big-name sponsors come along because they definitely need them over there at Stewart-Haas. NASCAR also unveiled new qualifying procedures for the 2024 season. So NASCAR is going to continue to split them up into two groups. That's not changed, with the fastest 5 drivers from each group advancing to the pole round, setting the top 10 starting field. That hasn't changed, but what will change is how positions 11 through 40th are determined. Previously, the cars that finished outside the top 5 of the two groups were seeded 11 through 40th based on their fastest qualifying lap, regardless of which group they were in. But beginning in 2024, and with the exception of the Daytona 500, which has its own unique qualifying procedure, cars that do not advance from Group A will determine the outside row for starting positions 11 through 40th, while the remaining cars from Group B will determine the inside row. See, qualifying's never going to be perfect because weather will always change and will always determine the starting position, and unfortunately that's kind of luck of the draw, and that's always going to be a factor. But this actually does make it a little bit more even, so that each one of these groups setting the group stages from 11 through 40th have a little bit fair of an advantage, a little bit. It's never going to be perfect. Qualifying is always going to be that thing that is determined on weather and determined on when you're actually going out in the qualifying order. So honestly, kudos to NASCAR for finding a little bit fairer of a way to set the field in 2024. So with Toyota and Ford having new bodies in the Cup Series in 2024, iRacing this week launched those bodies on their service. And yes, those templates are available to download off of the iRacing UI, but they're also available up on Trading Paint, an extraordinarily popular website for iRacing paint schemes. Those templates are up there right now, and you can go ahead and download them for free and go ahead and paint your Ford and Toyota bodies for the 2024 season now. We also found out this week that Kaz Grala is going to be attempting the 2024 Daytona 500 in the number 36 in a third entry for Front Row Motorsports. Now, this is going to be the 5th open car that is going for 4 spots. So right now we have 41 cars tentatively entered for the Daytona 500 in 2024. That's the 36 of Kaz Grala, the 60 of David Reagan, the 62 of Anthony Alfredo, the 78 of BJ McLeod, and the 84 of Jimmy Johnson are all going to have to qualify on speed at the moment. It doesn't look like the money team is going to be heading down to Daytona, but instead, supposedly, reportedly, will go ahead and attempt to race out at Las Vegas in March. So it's going to be interesting to see who makes the field and who doesn't. One car is probably going to go home, I should say, with 41 cars tentatively entered in the Daytona 500. But we're going to have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments down below, who do you think is going to make the field and who's probably going to go home in the Daytona 500 this year. So this one I'm kind of split on, admittingly. The electric car. A lot of people are pushing back against this, and I get why. I loved hearing those massive, massive engines roaring down the front stretch at Fontana at California Speedway in the 2000s, and it's just a feeling like no other. I love that. I will always cherish that, but clearly NASCAR is moving away from high horsepower, and now we're going to electric cars, or at least hybrid systems, which is the future. It's the thing that Americans and the country and the planet as a whole is moving towards, and OEMs, or the manufacturers themselves, really want to see that transpire in NASCAR. Now, I don't necessarily think we're going to get to a point where we see the Cup Series go full electric in the next 5 years. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but I don't think that's something that NASCAR is moving towards. If anything, I think that they might be considering doing it to the what's now known as the Xfinity or the Truck Series, or even starting a fourth national series altogether for the electric vehicles. This is the image that was leaked online a few months ago, and the color is extraordinarily underwhelming, admittingly, but I actually don't mind the design. The wing on the back, I question. NASCAR has not had a great history with wings. We all remember that lovely experiment. But honestly, it's not that bad. I like the fact that they're doing this. The car was actually subjugated to 340 laps over 3 days in Martinsville, with David Reagan driving it. NASCAR said that the optimal performance range of the battery isn't necessarily 100%. The sweet spot for the battery was more like 30 to 80%, and that it was generally operated at 50%. But by the end of the test, NASCAR says that the prototype was within a few tenths of the current Cup Series car, and it shares the same base chassis underneath its shell. NASCAR also went on the record saying that they have looked into other alternative fuels like hydrogen, but right now electric seems to be the way that they're going. And from what I'm hearing, it's going to be kind of like a big battery cell that can be changed out, kind of like a tire, but a little bit more secure. And again, we're going to find out once we get to Los Angeles. This car is going to be a non-brand specific car, kind of like what we saw with the current car when it was being tested a few years ago, the NASCAR branded next gen car, and it's going to be debuted or tested or showcased, however you want to go ahead and phrase that, when we get to the LA Clash that Sunday. So I'm going to get to see this hands-on. I cannot wait to see what this thing does. I'm going to talk to the people who have been working on it, to David Reagan, and see what this car is and where NASCAR is going in the general future. But this is what the sport is going to look like 10 years, 15 years from now. And honestly, whether we like it or not, it is here. I just want some good racing, period. As long as it puts on good racing, I could care less how it's powered and the mechanical aspect of it. And I know that's important to some people, and I respect that. So I want to hear from you. What do you think of this new proposed electric vehicle, and do you think that it can put on good racing? I know everybody's going to hop on the I hate electric bandwagon, yet most Americans are gravitating towards it and buying it. So clearly there's something here. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about the new vehicle that's debuting in Los Angeles at the Clash? I've been looking forward to this, and I haven't for various reasons, but let's go ahead and open the mailbag. And after the Cody Ware video, a lot of you have a lot of opinions about me, reporters, and facts, and denying facts. So let's get on into it. Starting with Nelson Gonzalez. Don't hate the guy. Nobody's perfect. He made a mistake, and he's paid his dues. Let the man race. Referring to Cody Ware, first off, thank you for the comments. Honestly, I'm not trying to judge the guy. I'm sincerely worried about him and his well-being. He went on the record a couple of years ago, put out a video on NASCAR social media about his struggles with his own mental health, and I can relate. I've had my own struggles with mental health, and things got dark there for a few years. I sought out help. I'm better now, but every day is still a challenge, and for Cody's sake, for his family's sake, for his potential alleged victim's state, I truly wish the best for him, and I hope he got the help he needs, because frankly, it can be very deadly if you don't. And yeah, I'd like to see him race again. I just think he needs to start at a lower series and not hop into the Cup Series and try his hand at it after being out for most of last year. Iceman. The Cody Ware situation reminds me a lot of the Drunk Brian France Twitter account versus Brian France. It's what they call a slap suit. Brian France could throw all the money he wanted to keep the lawsuit going until the guy behind the Drunk Brian France account, who did nothing wrong, couldn't spend any more money on the case and be forced into an apology. I'd be surprised if Cody's ex felt she couldn't continue the case because of that. There's alleged also proof, while not shown to the public, that she was indeed injured. While his next example might not be that close, the former iRacing streamer Jason Jacoby, who also has mental issues worse than the ones Cody has, got his charges dropped from beating his ex-girlfriend because the person in charge of the case wouldn't take care of his and other people's cases from the same town. Wouldn't be surprised if there was corruption involved in both, just like the corrupt police who planted drugs in Mayfield's house back in 2011. Oh, there is a lot to unpack with that one. First off, no comments on the Mayfield stuff, no comments on the Jason Jacoby stuff, because those are their own hornet's nest. Let's just stay on Cody Ware here for a second. Yeah, I mean, what you said there is very true, I think. You look at the Drunk Brian France Twitter account situation. If you're unaware, Drunk Brian France was a parody account on Twitter, and it was pretty funny, pretty entertaining stuff. But inevitably, the real Brian France finally saw the account and filed legal motion, and because of that, the Drunk Brian France Twitter account, parody account, was taken down, even though it was clearly labeled as a parody, which supposedly is allowed on Twitter. So it's no longer on Twitter, and yes, you are correct with the Cody Ware ex-girlfriend alleged victim. We can confirm, and thanks to medical records and public records that are available, we can confirm that she did indeed sustain some pretty serious injuries around her neck due to strangulation and a collapsed airway. So it was a pretty severe situation. Whether or not Cody Ware did that or not, we cannot confirm. Courts threw the case out, unfortunately, and I sincerely hope that she has sought out help and that she is safe. I cannot stress that enough. Like, I hope she is safe. I hope that Cody has found the help that he needs, if he indeed do this attack. Allegedly he did. A lot of comment change like this one were on our last video, so I'll just pick out this one from Diesel. Are you serious? Stop talking on something you have known idea on. This is pathetic. You obviously have known idea on the legal system. Stop stirring bleep while there is none. Well, not stirring, just putting a spotlight on a legal issue. And yes, I actually do know a little bit about legal issues. Yeah, I kind of went to journalism school for this, and, you know, I am an investigative reporter, an award-winning one. See right there? That's an award. I know what I'm doing, and thank you for your commanding knowledge of known English language right there, bud. Appreciate you. But yes, I didn't make any assumptions. I'm reporting on facts. I'm letting you come to your own conclusions on this Cody Ware situation, and I'm sorry that you do not like facts and that you just don't agree with them. Sorry. You can go ahead and disagree with me all you want. That's why the comment section is open. I don't ban anybody unless they make threats or come after somebody in the comments. In that case, they do get banned. But my comment section's open. Go ahead and leave the comment down below. What do you think of the Cody Ware situation, the electric vehicle situation at the Clash? Are you coming to the LA Clash? Let me know in the comments down below. We're going to be moving things around. I know that we're going to be doing a show this coming Friday, but we might only be going to 2 shows a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to open up on why that is in the coming weeks, but things with me, with my schedule, are changing, so videos are still going to come out multiple times a week here on the channel, but just might be moving around a little bit. So just to be safe, if you haven't already, mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss a video when it drops here on the channel. And of course, you can also log on to arnrace.com for the latest information between videos. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. I want to thank you so much for watching. It truly means a lot to me that you've watched all the way to the end. For Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track.